All right, I think we can get started then. Hello and welcome everyone. Today is October 28th and this is Metal3 community meeting. Just as usual, a reminder that this meeting will be recorded and posted later on the Metal3 YouTube channel. If you have any items that you want to discuss with the community today, then please go ahead and add it to the agenda. Also, please make sure that you add your name in the attendees list. So as usual, to start with, if there is someone new on the call, then please give us a brief introduction about yourself. And then meanwhile, I will mute my microphone.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Nam, working in Ericsson software technology. So I have made contribution to Metal3 projects for a while, but this is my first time joining the community meeting. So glad to be a part of the project and to talk to you today. Just
Great. Welcome, Nam. Is there someone else new on the call? Okay, so I take it as no. Then the first item in the agenda today is from Digambar, demo error classification feature in HWCC.
Okay, sure. Hello everyone. Let me give you some context over it. Before that, I'll share my screen. I have a demo to present.
Yeah, sure. Let me just do that for you.
Okay, thank you.
Can you try it?
Sharing. Okay. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So this is one of the feature we have developed, and we would like to submit a proposal for this. This is one of the feature related to error classification. What happens when there is a host in inspection state? If it failed in inspection state or registration state or provisional state, so user has to go and check manually that how many states are failed and what state they are in, and then go and check manually. So idea here is to give upfront to the user that user can go update the label, error label in the hardware classification, run it, and if he wants to pull the host, which some user wants to pull the host which is failed in the provision state, and he can get all the labels host. He can just run that command on the Metal3 BMH, and he can list now able to list all the hosts which is failed in the provision, pick it one and go ahead. That's a kind of a little feature, but it does make sense because in large deployment, finding that hosts are very much important, and it reduces the pain for administrator or users also. So I'll start with the demo. It's a quick demo, 5 minutes demo. So we have added one of the features. Currently, we are showing you for this. This is the label we have added, and error and colon all. All means all 4 state force we are dealing with here. But we are submitting a proposal for that, and we will try to match that. But for this try, we are actually making sure that we will get a one host which is in ready state and it matches to it. Okay, and so we made changes accordingly here, and now we are going ahead and apply this YAML profile. So once the CR is applied, we'll go and check whether its label is updated. So now you can see that in reconciler, we can see the logs, and we get the count which is minimum and maximum, and entire details, and we'll go and see the uh, label part. It will get there's the image. So Retry show labels, and this is the normal flow. Means now label is applied. And exact expected post is found and hardware classification label is attached. And in HCC status part, we didn't see anything. As you can see that here. Okay, so here we see that there is no label attached to them because there is no host in error state. So we go ahead. Now we are seeing that we pulled all the hosts and listing all the image host here, and see that if there is a label attached to that. And now we remove all the labels, and we can see here uh, currently we have 3 hosts, and one is registration error, which is failed in registration, another failed in the inspection, and one is in ready state. Okay, so now there are 2 hosts are in failed state and which are in error state. So now we can go ahead and apply add a profile, add an error. We added all because I want to list all the errors, and we can now we are going ahead and applying this profile. So we are pulling all the hosts from the metal cube, the image, and we now the profile is applied successfully. And here you can see that there is a count and everything is updated. Now, now we can see that whether label is applied or not, and where we are because currently previously there is no label. And here you can see that because label is applied successfully. So for registration, registration label is applied attached, and for inspection, for inspecting the data, which is because we are actually going to each and every spec and checking that what is the status, which is what state is filled, because these are the standard errors we are attaching here, and then we are doing that. So, and in the end, we are displaying because that's one of the way we found that we should display because uh, here you can see that. So I think it is this little bit faster.
Digambar 4:44, the exact time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we can see that there is matched host one, 2 hosts failed in error state, and one of that host is in registration and failed in registration and inspection. Actually, this give the user a brief idea about how many hosts I have and how many hosts failed in what kind of error state, so that user can immediately go ahead and put the label, fire the label command on the Dermity host, and we can choose the introspection failed host, and we can look at the grab the details of that host and go ahead. Because that way the error classification makes sense for us, and it is one of the requirement from airship also that they want such kind of classification so that it will be helpful for them in this to figuring out host which is spelled in error state and different error state, not in just error state, but different error state, and they can grab the errors. And let's say one of the host spelled in registration, it is early detection phase. You can so the classification makes sense here, and this is the one of the feature we developed, and we are planning to submit a proposal to docs by next week. Next month. That's all from my side. If you have any questions, we'll take it.
Great. Thank you very much, Digambar, for the nice demo. Is there someone that has questions or comments to Digambar on this?
Yeah, I might have quick question. First, really nice demo. That looks very promising. The what you added about this like catching all errors, like I didn't really get it. It was an annotation, right?
No, it is labeling. It's not annotation. It's labeling.
A label that you added on the hardware classification profile, right?
Right, right, right.
Okay. Did you consider maybe like making it like a field of the profile to be able to, like, for example, do validation of the input and like be able to let the user specify maybe a list of errors that they want to match or something like this?
Yeah, we are thinking on, because currently we just introduced one label as error, and the field or values of that label is all inspection, registration, provision. These I think three or four type of values. And I think currently annotation is not considered, but anyway, we are going to submit that proposal and we'll discuss in detail there, and we can put your comments also. So that
Okay.
we can make it workable for all.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, it's not a question to Digambar, but we need some help from community on this. Currently, the BMO has a list of like 4 list of errors. Like we see 4 lists errors, and a couple of them we couldn't reproduce actually. Like one is the provisioning error, and the other one is the power management error. So that is why we couldn't have those. Like we couldn't have host in those error states. But 2 we could easily do it, like inspection error and the registration error.
Yeah.
So we wanted to know if there is a way we can simulate or get the nodes or host in that error. What can be done so that input we need from community.
Actually, last, I think in ironically mid-cycle, I brought this point. I think Doug was there, but he wasn't there at the time of discussion. But he was aware about the thing. I think inspection in the ironic introspection, when the introspection fails, they usually don't put any detailed data, why it's failed, where it's failed, an actual error. They just put the data like introspection failed introspection is failed for this host. I think that's the problem, because we are not able to capture actual error there. That's the reason we stuck there. But
Right.
and that's the reason we came up with this approach, because at least this is helpful for the user. But like Sumit said, we need some of the information for power and provision, kind of where we can actually try out and test this mechanism. And somehow I think our QA team, Sumit and Snehal, are not able to produce that, because there is some load from the ironic side also. Because I think we need to talk to their team if possible.
Yeah, I might be able to help with that a little bit.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the 2 different errors, provisioning and power management, right? So
Right.
for provisioning, I think that error would come up if, for example, the agent doesn't boot on the host. So if you were trying to simulate that situation, you could wait for provisioning to start and then turn the host off or something. And that would prevent the agent from booting and talking back to Ironic and indicating that it was ready to go. And eventually, Ironic would consider that a timeout and it would generate an error. And that takes a while. It gives it a good long while before it decides that it has to give up. So that one's kind of hard to reproduce. Well, I mean, unless you're in production, I guess. The power management one is a similar kind of thing, where if Ironic can't talk to the management controller, it will eventually put it into that kind of a state. So if you're using virtual machines, you could do something like shut down the proxy, the VBMC service, Once you have the node up and it's running and provisioned, if you turn that service off, then Ironic will, as it checks the power periodically, it will detect that that's an error and it should put it into that state. Especially if you also go and change the online flag on the host, which would try to get Ironic to change the power state of the host. So that might be the way to reproduce that one. I should say though that all of these error states, Zane and Andrea and a couple of other people are working on changes to the state machine in the operator so that instead of putting the host into one of these states and just leaving it there, it retries whatever operation was ongoing. So you may want to consider that. I don't know what effect that's going to have on what you're doing. I couldn't tell from the demo whether you expect these hosts to, like maybe this is after a deployment and then you're going to go examine the results of the deployment and find all of the hosts that failed this way.
Right.
They're going to be retrying at some point. And so they may no longer be in an error state, even if the label is attached to them. They may be in the provisioning state again or something like that if we have rebooted it and tried to provision again. And that's all in trying to make this, the Metal3 act more like a regular Kubernetes controller where it just keeps retrying to do the operation.
Yeah, Doug, I mean,
Might be.
that is, okay, sorry. Yeah, well, go ahead.
I was just going to say that there might be, if you just want to do development, there might be easier way to get the status that you wanted. Would be just to modify the CRD to remove the sub-resource status field, so that then you are able to actually edit everything with kubectl. Then if you don't run BMO, you can just create the BMH directly with the status you want that has the error you want, and then have your controller run on that.
Okay. Yeah, I think
just an idea. Like, I mean, it depends
yeah,
if you want to try on live system or just like just test some corner cases.
No, I think it will be good to have that updated.
Yeah, as Doug pointed out, for the provisioning error, we could see our nodes into that error state, but that is only for 1 or 2 seconds. But then it keeps on, like it loops in between two states, like provisioning, deprovisioning. So that is the, like we got that state, but it was not like for a longer time. So it was like only for a second. And then it keeps looping between those two states, provisioning and deprovisioning continuously. So
Yep. All right. Someone else to add? Saucy. Digambar, do you have some questions related to this?
No, I think we are working on just another update. We are working on adding more parameters to HWC spec, and I think by end of this week we are submitting that design proposal also to the community. The idea is to filter out or get the details related to RAID, SSD, STD, and some of the more parameters on NIC and CPU stuff from where. So I'll ping you guys on our channel when I submit that and tag me. That's it all from myself.
Great. Thank you very much, Digambar and Sumit. So the next item in the agenda is from Akisilif. I'm so sorry if I'm reading it incorrectly. So it's related to design proposal, ironic debugging. Yep.
Yeah, it's Andrew Kiselov. And I would like to highlight the design proposal, which was recently posted in Metal3 docs repository. So the high-level description of the changes is to make debugging process a little bit more user-friendly. and expose ironic RAM disk logs to the end user. And the idea here is to add a script, actually two scripts, one for ironic and one for ironic inspector images, and add them as a new endpoints. And these scripts will basically watch for the logs in the RAM disk and decompress them, print them, and finally delete them once they were done with this procedure. One obstacle here was how to translate between UUID, unique identifier, which every log file is marked with, into more user-friendly node names. And so far we reviewed a couple of approaches. One of them was obviously we can do it from the provisioning host using bare metal command, but from the container, it should be something like either new container, like ironic client. That's one option. Or ideally, this node name should be already in the log file name. And that would require some changes on ironic side. So far, the second approach with changes on ironic side seems to be more favorable. And I opened a couple of user stories on ironic storyboard, OpenStack storyboard, and plan to implement it on ironic side. And in the meantime, we can also use this proposal and go ahead with a two-stage approach. First, we can dump these logs with file names as is with UUID in the file name. And once ironic change is available, it will be seamlessly, hopefully seamlessly, replaced with a node name. And in this case, we'll have a complete picture of which log belongs to which node. So that's scope of this effort, and feel free to ask questions now or comment on this design proposal on GitHub.
Great. Thank you very much for the proposal and the description. Seems really interesting. I personally didn't see it yet, but yeah. Is there someone that has some comments or questions for this proposal? I see like you already had a couple of comments in the proposal, but if there is someone that wants to add on top here. Nope. Okay. Then maybe we could like ask once more to have a review, maybe final review on the proposal, and just move forward with this. Great. Thank you very much. So the next item is from Doug, lazy consensus on the RAID API design. Doug, please.
Yes, thank you. So we've been working on this RAID API design for quite a while now. I think it was Mail suggested that we talk about having a lazy consensus on this version of the design. I don't know if people want to propose a date for that, maybe give a little bit of time for final reviews, that sort of thing.
I'd say maybe a week, no? That's on.
Yeah, that works for me. Is there anybody on the call who hasn't had a chance to look at it, who thinks they would need more than a week to look at it? All right, good. So I'll make a comment on the ticket then about that so that everybody who's already reviewed it will be aware. And then I'll connect with you, Mail, to approve it next week, unless there's something that comes up in the meantime.
Sure, thanks.
Thanks.
Yep, thank you very much, Doug. So the next item is for me, related to the Metal3 book proposal. I opened the proposal in the Metal3 docs 2 days ago, I guess. So we had initial proposal was in the Google Doc. I was planning to use empty book to create a book for the Metal3 that would basically collaborate all the documents that we have in different repositories and present it as a single unified book. But we had some problems with updating the context with actual repositories. Then the Pablo was suggesting to use the ASCII doc, which seems like solved like quite many of the problems. So we don't have to use, for example, Git submodules. The ASCII doctor has its kind of built-in tooling to do that. It just puts the references to the documents that you have in different repositories, and it just fetches them and then just creates the book. So whatever context you have, sorry, whatever context you have in the documents in the repositories, it will just take it and then just present it. So there were some comments already. Thank you very much for that. But I would appreciate if you have still more comments, or if you didn't have a chance, please take a look at it. And let's see how it goes. It was just an update. Is there someone that has some questions related to this or any comments?
Just a quick comment. You already know, but for everyone's awareness, that a colleague of mine, Chris, is currently looking at a revamp of another project's documentation, which Qbert, and the Qbert project faces some similar challenges. So I will ask him if he can take a look at this proposal and provide some feedback based on observations. For now, one thing I can mention is, after seeing that there was this suggestion to move to ASCII doc and maybe back, I know that the Qbert project a while ago, they used to have to use Markdown for documentation. They switched to ASCII doc, and recently, earlier this year, they switched back to Markdown. So I don't know if I don't know if this helps at all. I'll let Chris provide more feedback on that. Just wanted to mention.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, this is one of the kind of the disadvantages that if we are going to use the ASCII doctor tool chain, then we have to convert all the markdown files into the ASCII doc syntax. Of course, there is not that much of differences in the way it looks like and in the way you do the syntaxing. We can, for example, put like proper documentation that describes how to do the syntaxing or formatting, sorry. But I don't know, like it might be really helpful if you could, like if the Chris could share, like if there's some problems that they faced, so that we avoid in our situation as well.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. Thank you, Pep. So the next item is from Nam. Nam, I guess you had 3 open PRs and you wanted to ask for the reviews.
Yes, I would like to highlight that there are some PRs that have been open, and the reason for this is currently we have the TOS connection between Ironic and some other components, but we're still missing the TOS connection to MariaDB. So those PR enable that feature, and there are already some PR. I mean, sorry, some reviews for the on the PR. But still, they are still open and welcome everyone to come and review. And to make this feature enable, we need the 3 PRs, one for the ironic image, one for bare metal operator, and the last one from Metal3 that end. And the ironic image, the PR on ironic image is really need to get more review and then approval before the rest the other true PR can be tested by the CI system. So yeah, please take a look at it.
For the ironic one, I guess it would be really good to get the review at least from Dmitry and Zane, because they were like quite active with the TLS work. Maybe Derek also would be a good person to add in CC.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I can share about those PR. Monitor can be seen on the card. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nam. So yeah, please have a look at the PRs if you have time, and then just leave any comments if you have. Thank you. So and Nam, please, if you also can CC and Dimitri and Zane, as Miles suggested.
Sure, thanks.
I went ahead and did that while we were talking.
Great, thank you.
Yep, thanks. Great, so the next item is from Mile, office hours participants in KubeCon.
Yeah, just wanted to say that the times for the office hours was confirmed now. So it's going to be on the 17th and on the 20th. On the 17th at 4 EST and on the 20th at 2 EST. So now we're just gonna have to go like within the maintainers, like ask who is interested to join. So I will send an email very soon to decide who will attend the sessions. We have to fill a form with the list of the panelists. Yeah. Just short update. That's it for me.
Just one question. Mile, how many hours will it last? Like, is it like 1 hour office hour session or?
It's 45 minutes. It's actually pretty short. It's a KubeCon session, so they are quite short.
Okay, thanks.
So it's twice 45 minutes. From the European time point of view, it's not great, and like even worse for India, and also the it's like in the first one is at 11 Finnish time, and the second one is at 9 p.m. Finnish time. Yeah, so. Well, anyways, 10 and 8 London time. Sorry, Paris time. So quite late in the evening.
Yep.
Do you know, Mel, if we need to be registered for KubeCon in order to participate in this? I wasn't planning to participate in the conference otherwise, but I could do at least one of these time slots.
I would expect that you don't need to be registered because they register the panelists on Zoom directly, so you don't have to do anything there. Though I don't know, like in the normal like physical KubeCons, when you were like an office hour presenter, you kind of get a free pass for the conference. But I don't know if it's gonna if they're gonna do the same this time.
Okay.
But I would expect that you can anyways participate as a panelist without anything else.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but just like I'll follow up with an email very soon. So like,
cool.
Thank you, Mile. So the next item is from Fasano, lazy consensus on the limit number of the hosts simultaneously provisioned.
Hi, Andrea speaking. I also proposed here the lazy consensus on this proposal. It's a little bit of time that the proposal is ongoing. It's about providing a first answer to the simultaneous host provisioning activity. I think there was a good discussion about it, and the proposal reached quite well-defined point. And as Mel was also proposing, maybe it could be a good time to ask for a lazy consensus. So maybe, I don't know, if we can follow the same approach as the other proposed by Doug, maybe we can put a week or two for the lazy consensus.
Mile or Doug, what do you think?
Yeah, that would be fine with me. I haven't looked at that one in a few days. Andrea, does the text of the proposal match what was agreed in the comments on it? I saw there were a lot of comments, and I haven't caught up with it in the past few days.
Yes, yes. There wasn't any big change in the latest week.
Okay. Yeah, that would be fine with me then. That was my only concern, was making sure that we'd actually captured all of those comments. So it sounds like we're ready.
Great. So maybe we can then give a 1 week of lazy consensus, if everyone is okay.
Yeah, I think that's fine. This is I mean, it's an important change, but it's a pretty straightforward change. It's not going to have a huge impact on APIs or anything like that. And we can adjust the logic and algorithm and everything if we need to over time. But I think it's going to be an important thing for avoiding overloading the system. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. Then we can put the 1 week lazy consensus, and hopefully it gets merged soon within the week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the next is again from Mile, hints on how to debug the BMO crash.
Yeah, this is rather a request for BMO experts, kind of. Like we have a situation where BMO is in regularly in crash loop back off every couple of hours on one of the staging environments. And when we try to run it locally to investigate, it never crashes. And when it runs locally, when it runs in the cluster, it crashes I don't know, over a couple of days we reached 30 restarts of the pod. And I'm kind of running out of ideas because of course it doesn't log anything, it just crashes and that's it. And running a bit out of ideas of how to figure out what's going wrong with it. It's quite a recent version. It's 1 week or 2 weeks old.
Have you tried wrapping the operator with a shell script that wouldn't actually exit, so that you get the crash and the operator restarts, but you don't lose the pod and the logs?
Oh, that's a very good point. Yeah, we can build a new image that has a shell, and because the current one has nothing in there, really nothing.
It just runs the operator directly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good idea. Thanks. We're gonna try something like this.
Great, thank you. Is there something that someone would like to still discuss before we move on to the issue triage? Okay, so then if nothing, then let's do the triage. I think we don't have too many issues. Yeah, okay. So the first one is the retry when node in adopt failed state forgot. Okay, I think there is a PR for the registration.
Sorry, I was busy taking some notes. Yeah, I opened the the issue. So currently, the ironic, we were facing some issues like this adoption thing. What happens is that ironic, when the nodes are stuck in the adopt failed state, BMO does not retry. So I wanted to implement this feature in BMO, so it retries whenever adoption fails. So I opened the issue, and there was some kind of similar one to adoption from Zane. I'm not sure if he's in the call, but it's related to the adoption as well. So
okay. Do you think that it's the kind is the bug or is a feature?
Not sure. What do you think, Mal? Is it?
Well, I don't think it's a bug per se.
Yeah, it's not a bug. Yeah.
But it would be. It's good to have feature. Let's say.
Feature. Okay.
just something that was not implemented until now.
Okay. Next one is from Zane, basic authentication on JSON RPC broken with IPv6.
Yeah, it would have been good to have him on the call. It's a bug, definitely. The question is well, I would be okay like reverting part of the fix so that we do not set the host field of the ironic configuration. But the question is, would that be enough to solve the bug that they are seeing? I don't really know. But yeah, anyways, since it's only triaging, like you can just put bug.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. And the last one is in Metal3 dev 05 test failed in deploy control plane. I'm not sure how it's related to Cubenet because 05 is in 05
it's
where
the deployment. It's the deployment of the control plane and the workers. It's the test.
Yeah, it just
you could like put a small comment to ask for more information about the variables that he's been using, and then mark it as need more info.
Yeah.
Like also, if he's been running with Ubuntu or CentOS, it's not clear with from his message.
Is it awaiting for more evidence?
I can take care of putting that one. I'll use the labels directly. I
don't recall
what the name
is. Sure, thanks. Great, and I think this was the last issue in our list. Then, yep, we're on time. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining, and have a nice rest of the day. And see you next time. I think the next time will be the KubeCon.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna have actually. We probably should cancel the next one because it's going to be overlapping with the KubeCon KubeCon timetables. Yeah.
Maybe we can discuss it on the Slack a bit more, since not everyone is on the call today.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.